The Fisherman's Fire, The Travels of Peter. Peter stood in the shadow of the massive columns of Solomon's portico. He wasn't the same man who had once hidden in the dark on the night of the trial. Now his voice rang out across the temple courts like a trumpet. A young man named Jude stopped in his tracks, captivated by the raw honesty in Peter's eyes. Peter wasn't just telling a story. He was calling for a revolution of the heart. "Change the way you think," Peter shouted to the crowd. "Turn around and find the refreshment your souls are starving for." Peter knew that repentance wasn't just a religious word. It was an invitation to a new life. He stood alone for a moment after the crowds began to thin, looking up at the sky. He thought about how far he had come from the shores of Galilee. He wasn't just catching fish anymore. He was helping people find their way back to the light. His heart was a fire that wouldn't go out, fueled by a promise that was bigger than the Roman Empire itself. The journey took Peter to the town of Lydda. There, in a small, shadowed room, he met a man named Aeneas. Aeneas had been bedridden for 8 long years, his world reduced to the 4 corners of a mat. Peter sat beside him, feeling the weight of the man's exhaustion. "Aeneas," Peter said, his voice steady and kind, "Jesus Christ heals you. It's time to get up and take care of your things." Before the words had even finished echoing in the room, Aeneas felt a surge of strength he hadn't known in nearly a decade. He didn't just twitch a finger, he stood straight up. The room, once a place of stagnant silence, was suddenly filled with the sound of movement. Aeneas began to roll up his bedding, his movements quick and sure. He wasn't a patient anymore. He was a walking testament to the impossible. Not far away in the seaside town of Joppa, a woman named Tabitha had fallen ill and died. She was the heart of her community, famous for the clothes she sewed for the poor. The grief in the city was a heavy fog. 2 men found Peter in Lydda, and one of them, a man named Silas, grabbed Peter's arm with desperation. "Please," Silas begged, "you must come with us right away. We've lost someone we cannot replace." When Peter arrived at the house in Joppa, the air was thick with weeping. He asked everyone to leave the room so he could be alone with Tabitha. She lay there, still and cold, surrounded by the beautiful garments she had made for others. Peter knelt by the bed and prayed. He wasn't looking at the death in the room. He was looking at the author of life. He turned to the body and said softly, "Tabitha, get up." Tabitha's eyes fluttered open. The first thing she saw was the ceiling of her own room, and the second was the kind face of the fisherman. She sat up, her strength returning in a warm rush. She reached out, her hands, the same hands that had sewn so many coats for the cold, now reaching for a new day. Death had tried to claim her, but life had won the argument. News of the miracle at Joppa spread like wildfire, but Peter's own journey was about to take a strange turn. One afternoon, he went up to the flat roof of the house to pray. The sun was hot, and he was incredibly hungry. As he waited for lunch, he fell into a trance. He saw the sky open up and something like a massive linen sheet descending, held by its 4 corners. Inside the sheet were all kinds of animals that Peter's laws told him were unclean and forbidden to eat. A voice told him to kill and eat, but Peter recoiled. "Never," he argued. "I've never eaten anything common or unclean." The voice spoke again, sharper this time. "Do not call what God has made clean uncommon." The vision happened 3 times, leaving Peter's mind spinning. He realized the vision wasn't just about food, it was about people. Just as Peter was trying to decode the vision, a Roman centurion named Cornelius arrived. He was a Gentile, someone Peter was supposed to avoid. But the vision had cleared the path. Peter looked at Cornelius and saw not an enemy or an outsider, but a brother. "I see now that God doesn't play favorites," Peter said, extending his hand. The fisherman's net had just grown large enough to hold the whole world.